Well, hello again. It has been a while. I mean, 2 months to be exact. Apart from the in-law reason, because we got a whole law thing going on now that I was in the warp, the actual reason was, well, I thought I'll actually not try, like I have been trying, but put my full effort into making videos really. So I updated like my mic, so this probably sounds a lot better. A new avatar, which you're currently seeing. And yeah, change the camera angle up a little bit and hopefully it's a little bit better. But I just thought I'll industrialize in a sense and upgrade. But now that I'm finally back and now I can actually make stuff again, we will be painting up some kriegsmen because, well, I'm a kriegsman, so I'm going to paint kriegsmen to help kriegsmen for Krieg. So yeah, you've been waiting 2 months, so let's not dilly dally and let's get straight to it. But actually, something I just remembered before we get straight to it is the amazing artist who has made my lovely avatar that you're seeing now will be linked in the description. But her name is on Vision. Her name will be something if I can log in and find it. Just give me 1 second. It's gonna take a sec. Uh, Probably should have had this all up beforehand. I mean, might have been better. Yep, here we go. Is Neo Eclipse Studio. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want a PNG done. They're honestly fantastic and really well made. And yeah, so thank you to her. And now let's get into the painting of the Death Corps of Krieg. So to start the painting process off for the Death Corps Kriegs, yeah, that's English. We're gonna tackle the base of the coats first. So we're gonna take Ink by Darkness and any black of your choice. I chose Abaddon Black, sorry. And you're gonna mix this roughly 50-50 and stick it over everywhere where the coat is. So that would mean the back of his coat, his sleeves, his collar, the inside of his coat as well, because I don't know, I choose to do it the same color because I think it would just kind of make more sense, but I'm going to leave it darker while the rest of the coat would be lighter, so it kind of has that difference. After you have painted our main man over here and the rest of the gang with the black and the ink by darkness, we're then just going to take ink by darkness itself. And you're basically just going to put this over everything that you've just painted because we want to leave the darker mix in like the very corners of it. So even when you paint over it, there'll probably still be that little bit that's just hidden somewhere. So it'll make it all flow a little bit better. Continuing on with the layering, we are going to take a black of your choice again. I'm going to use Abaddon Black again and Thunderhawk Blue and mix this roughly the kind of same, a 50-50, maybe a 40-60 for Thunderhawk Blue. And you're just going to layer it on top of the coat that we just done, but mainly in the areas where it's going to shine the most. Like, we don't want this on everything, we just want it on the areas which we're going to see the most. And also, sorry for the very blurry thingamajiggies. I am trying, I guess. Well, I technically am. I figured out what the issue was, I think, so hopefully the next video is less blurry and less dodgy. But I'm going through and trying to find the best ones. Continuing on with the layers in the blurry vision of blurs, we are then going to take rust grey and we're just going to put this over mainly the coat, like the overhang. Yeah, overhang. The bits that come up over the main bit of the coat, the underneath and bits. And yeah, so you're just going to paint that with rust grey, as well as you're going to use this as your final highlight for your cuffs, so the under bit of the cuffs near the hands. The knees, we're going to put a little bit of this on, as well as we're also going to put this onto the collar. Now going on to the actual final layer, we're going to take rust grey like we did before, as well as white scar, And you're going to mix this about 50-50, and we're going to use this for the final highlight for the cuffs, the overcoat, the undercoat, the overcoat, the bit that we just painted before, and that is roughly it. We're now going to move on to the wraps and the sleeping bag of all the Kriegsman. So we're going to take Xandri dust and we're going to apply this in one coat because you don't want to apply it too thinly that you need two. So hopefully you should be able to do it in one. But if you need to, it's fine to do it in two. And now I did have a clip of me actually painting the wraps, but it's so blurry. It's basically unusable. So instead, you just have one of the finished results and one of the sleeping bag. We are also going to use Xandri dust to paint the gas mask of the Kriegsman as well. But when you do this, just make sure it's not too thick, otherwise it will take the detail away from the eyes on the gas mask. We are then going to go back to the wraps of the Kriegsman and the bedroll of the Kriegsman, and we're going to take Agrox Earthshade and we're going to apply this over the top of them to darken them, because if a Kriegsman is like running around in mud all day, he ain't going to have the cleanest wraps, it's going to be dirty and stuff like that. So instead of using like nut oil or some other colours, I think Agrox like gives it that brown kind of muddy effect the best. So another color that you actually could use here is Seraphim Scepter, but it's not as much as a brown as it is like more of a just darkener, kind of the same color darkener, but it does work if you want more of a clean aesthetic for the Kriegsman. For the final highlight of the wraps, the bedroll, and the gas mask, we're going to take Ushapti Bone, and for the wraps, you're going to paint this in a line motion to simulate the sun hitting the top of the wraps. So if you do this in the line motion, it kind of just it brings it all together and actually blends it really well. But for the bedroll, we're just gonna put it on the very tops of it where the sun is beaming down and hitting it. But if you are doing your sun coming from a different angle, so say instead of coming from above, it's coming from like top kind of diagonally down on them, it would be in a different area instead. And for the gas mask, you're just going to do it in the cheekbone areas to bring them out. Now that we have completed all the wraps, the cloak, it's now time for the last biggest thing on each Kriegsman, being their backpacks. So you're going to take Rhinox hide and you're going to apply this over basically every leather bit on the model, being the backpack as well as his belt and the straps that hold his bedroll and canister, and the ones that come over his body. We're also going to apply Rhinox hide over the communication and gas mask bit in the middle of his chest. So you're just going to do the exact same as what you've done to the backpack and apply Rhinox hide all over it. So to highlight up the browns, we're going to take Doomball Brown and we're going to basically just paint this over every single thing that we painted Rhinox hide, because we want to keep Rhinox hide in the outer edges and in the recesses of it to darken them down so it looks more natural. For the final highlight for the backpacks, we're going to take Scrag Brown and you're just going to use this as an edge highlight. And a tip I found for it is kind of turn your brush at like a 45-degree angle and do it with the side of the brush instead of the tip of the brush. And I find that helps a lot when you can. Obviously, I know some places you can't really get a brush in there. We're also going to do the exact same to the chest thing for the Kriegsman as well. Now that all the leather is done, it's now time to move on to the metallics. So we're first going to start off with the metals. So we're going to use AK Dark Aluminum. There we go, got it. We're going to use that and we're going to put it all over the Kriegsman's helmet and his shoulder pads, because it has a very grim dark feel to it and it just matches the vibe that we're going for. The next thing we're going to paint in our journey to end the smell is now the weapons. We are going to paint the Sergeant's plasma pistol, which we're only going to realistically paint the very tip of it and then the little bit behind it, as well as we're then going to paint the normal Kriegsman's rifles as well as the flamethrower, would have a little bit of metal on it, probably not too much, probably only on certain bits, as well as depending on the weapon options you pick of the grenade launcher, the sniper, or what's the last one? The multi-melter. The last two things we are going to use the metal paint for to paint are going to be the kriegsman's end of the gas mask in his leather pack on his chest, as well as the inside of it, and the Voxcaster, I believe that's what it's called, the Voxcaster's backpack, because it works different to everyone else's, because, you know, radio and that, so we can contact other Voxcasters, so we can tell the other kriegsman what's happening. So yeah. So as I'm sitting here editing the video, my first thought, not my first thought, probably my fifth thought, or maybe my seventh, but I thought I had was, when were gas masks first invented? Obviously we know majority of the time that, well, not majority, but that they were during World War One, in 1915 to be exact, because of the introduction of gas, like big gas warfare. But it is kind of intriguing to think what they used before gas masks were invented, because before the whole introduction of mass gas warfare, they used to get like cotton pads, and then they used to soak them in chemicals, or they would pee on them because it would actually neutralize the gas, which is kind of intriguing. I don't think you would ever see a guardsman, you know, out of luck, oh no, I forgot my gas mask. But wait a minute, there's a dead guy there with a rag. Is there a bottle of water anywhere? I just don't think you'll see it. Because obviously where the 41st millennium is much further than 1915, by about a few thousand years, you just wouldn't see it. But it is intriguing to actually think of it realistically. I mean, the first actual like gas mask was actually invented by a Russian, I believe. Let me just look it up quickly. Yeah, by a Russian chemist called Nikolai Zelensky, invented the first truly effective charcoal filter mask, which became widely adopted. So it's kind of mad to think that if gas was never invented, technically the Kriegsman wouldn't have ever existed. Or if they did, they wouldn't be as cool as, say, they are now. But there's your brief intermission from painting. Hope you've enjoyed, and now let's get back to the painting. So, getting back to the painting on the guns area of expertise, we are going to be taking rattling grime, and we're going to put this on basically all the black parts of the weapons. So that'd be the plasma weapon, the flamer, the grenade launcher, and all of the other ones, depending on what weapon options you picked. I picked the flamer and the sniper. I am going to get the other two because I'm going to have a lot of squads, but essentially, yeah, you're just going to put this on everything that is black. We are then going to paint one of the specialist weapons I'm bringing along with me, being the flamethrower. So we're going to take Game Color Brassy Brass, and you're going to put this all over the tip end of the flamethrower. That's something I didn't do, which now I have remembered and will go back and most likely do, is you can actually dry brush a black over the very tip of the flame to kind of signify, okay, it's been burning a while and it is crisp and burnt and the paint is chipped off. We're now going to move on to doing some gold. So we're going to take Dragon's Gold from Two Thin Coats, and you're going to apply this onto the, what's it called? The handguard. There's a name out there, which I don't know, but there is. You're going to basically just apply it onto the handguard of the sword, as well as the Imperialis on his helmet, and then if there's Imperialis on the back, like on the can or anything like that, you're also going to apply it there. We are now going to highlight the gold up, so we're going to take glistening gold from Two Thin Coats as well, and you're just going to put this where the light hits it the most. And for the final highlight of gold, we're going to take Pro Acryl's white gold, and you're just going to put this where the sun would hit it the most. We are next going to tackle the medic bag of the kriegsman because, I mean, if my death corpse of Krieg gets shot square between the eyes, I kinda just need to go get a blue paper towel, throw it on him and get him back up in the fight, if you know what I mean. So, we're gonna take O from Grey, I've butchered that, but it'll be on the screen, and you're gonna apply at least 2 to 3 coats until you get a solid colour onto the medibag. So to finish off the medipack, we are going to take Seraphim Scepter and you're just going to put it all over the medpack, and this is to darken the white as well as to put a colour actually inside of the medi symbol in the middle of it, and it just works it better in my opinion than the blue, because the blue looks nice in the box art, but I feel like this, in my personal opinion, I just prefer. We are now going to add some highlights to the black on the model that we've left. This is a bit everywhere, it's a bit of a roundabout. We're going here, there, and everywhere, but bear with me. So a grey of your choice, and just stick it onto the gas mask, the shoes, anything that you kept black. So if you wanted the shoes to be leather instead, which is completely up to you, it's your model, do that instead. But yeah, anything black, just add on. We're now going to put some intensity ink in there, like you see. I use Green Stuff World's intensity ink. White is good as well. It's mainly just so where we're going to be doing plasma, it's to make it pop a bit more and make it a bit like it's more plasma, like it's charging up and it's about to slap the son of a bitch in front of you or something. Now it's time for the final thing for the miniatures, the final thing for the actual Kriegsman. I mean, we still got the bases, but for the Kriegsman. So, we're going to take Agrox Earthshade from before, and you're going to put this on all of the metal bits to darken them down and make them seem a bit more rustic, a bit more dirtier, to really feel the vibe of Krieg, trench warfare, and mud. So that is the miniature fully done. That is long, very, very long, but I think they look alright, to be fair. I mean, in post I actually get to see them fully completed, so I believe they came out very alright. But now it's time to tackle the bases. So being Kriegsman, it's going to be mud, and you'll never guess it, wet mud. Yeah. So to add some detail to the bases, we're going to take a popsicle stick and we're going to chop it in half with clippers, and then we're going to chop little bits off of it to kind of act like what's the word? Act like planks in like a trench. So it adds a bit more diversity to the bases so that they all don't just look like empty mud essentially. So what you're going to see next is me attempt to cut a dowel in half. I'm going to leave this in completely uncut because I believe, even though it's a bit embarrassing, it is hilarious. So yeah, it's also to add more diversity to the base as well. But enjoy me struggling to cut a dowel in half. Do you know what this is? In the lack of terms, embarrassing. Probably don't do this with clippers either. I think I'll just leave this raw uncut footage in until I break it. I'm gonna leave this whole segment in. I've got a hobby saw. I think I do. I'm just gonna leave this whole segment just uncut, including my door closing. Because yeah, I think it's hilarious that I can't break a bit of wood. So instead, grab a hobby saw, because yeah, use it safely, and make your life 10 times easier. We'll try to at least. I seriously not use a saw. Come on, my father was a builder, I should know this. Angles, come on. This is quite funny actually. Right, let's see if I can do it now. Get there eventually. There we go. Done it. So you want it kind of broken because we're going to kind of put it at an angle, but there's the uncut version of me struggling to cut a bit of a dowels in half. So now moving on to the actual base, now that we have the things prepped, we're going to take AK Interactive Muddy Ground Train and you're going to put this all over the base. And essentially, after you do that, you're going to take said popsicle sticks, can't speak today, popsicle sticks and the dowels that took me 7 years to cut in half. And you're going to insert these into the mud so that when the mud dries, it dries with it and it sticks it in place, and it'd be very hard for it to get knocked out or stuff like that. For the normal people as well as the other ones we've done, we are also going to take the people and just glue, like put them on the base so the mud also kind of sticks to them so they don't move, instead of putting super glue, which will make a kind of, we'd leave a white kind of froth behind, and we don't want that because it take away from the base. So we're just going to put them in and let them dry in the mud. We're going on to the home stretch now, so we're going to take Agrox Earthshade and we're going to apply this all over the base, and when I mean all over, I mean all over. Just get that son of a bitch on your brush and just slabber it all over. Thin it the tiniest bit, but apart from that, just slap it all over, onto the popsicle sticks, onto the pillars, onto the mud. It's one to tint, or stain's a better word, that's it, stain the planks so they're darker, so they fit in more to the aesthetic, and two, to make the mud feel more alive, like it's wetter mud instead of dried mud that looks really off. It's wet, it's active, it's there, it feels like an active war zone. From here, we're going to take some like barbed wire, so any kind of thing that you can get that looks like barbed wire, and you're going to wrap this around the posts that we've made so that they have a bit of contrast. Can you really say contrast? We're going to say contrast, that it contrasts the post nicely and adds a bit more to the base. So for our last step, we're going to take blood for the blood god, and we're going to apply this all over the barbed wire to give it the gimmick that it's been used, it's dried, and we're going through a battlefield that we've been fighting for literally years or millenniums. And that's about it. Here are the Death Corps of Krieg, all painted and ready for the battlefield. I believe they turned out quite well. And if you think so, it would mean a lot if you could like and subscribe. As well as in the comments, just let me know what I can improve upon in all seriousness, because I mean, I'm making content for the people. So if there's anything I can improve upon, it'd be nice to know. As well as I'm going to be streaming soon, like me playing like Warhammer games, Dead by Daylight, and probably a few other ones, but mainly Warhammer. And with all that being said, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night, and I shall speak to you all in the next one.